Hello everyone, good evening. This video I will talk about what happened before China get rid of absolute poverty. Reform and opening up. Reform and opening up is a turning point for China's modern economy, and it is also the foundation for China's poverty reduction. There are still some controversial views on the impact of reform and opening up in China, but the overview is that it is very useful and beneficial to China's economy, and the only way for China's economy to integrate with the global economy. Reform and opening up began in 1978, and it is still China's basic policy today. It follows two main lines, the reform and the opening up, which means that internal reform and opening up to the outside are carried out at the same time, which is very characteristic of China's dialectics. On the line of reform, China has just ended a period of political instability, and the people have made many attempts in terms of political systems, economic rights, and ideology in thinking about how to improve economic productivity. The line of opening up was affected by the new round of economic globalization and new liberalism at that time. And China realized that China's economic need to integrate with the global economy. At that time, other countries also adopted similar policies, such as structural adjustment programs and shock therapy, to adapt their economic to the international environment. But they are very different with China's reform and opening up in methods and results. For reasons of time, we will not compare Chinese reform and opening up with other countries' economic policies, as well as the culture and the ideological impact of reform and opening up on China. We only focus on why reform and opening up is the foundation for China's poverty reduction. Before the reform and opening up, China was a collective ownership system. The land was collectively owned, and the harvest food should also be distributed by the collective. Therefore, farmers were not motivated to produce. However, the reform and opening up allocate the land to the farmers for independent use, and the harvest food was also distributed by the farmers. So, farmers are more active in growing food, and which solves farmers' problems in some area. The second policy is to set up special economic zones to allow some Chinese cities to carry out foreign trade. These cities can introduce foreign factories, capital, and technology, which makes them like a door for exchange between China and the global economy. The first special economic zones include Shenzhen, which we always hear, and then Shanghai, Wenzhou, Dalian, and other cities soon joined. People in this place first trade with foreign countries and increased their economic income. And the third is market-oriented reform, which has improved China's modern enterprise, financial, and legal systems. Before reform and opening up, China was planned economy, and the commodity price was set by government. After the beginning of reform and opening up, the price were determined by market supply and demand. The government is no longer the visible hand, but the invisible hand of the market to complete price setting and distribute the supply and demand, which also increases the demands of enterprise, bankers, and accounting firms, and so on. All kinds of companies are active in the market and increase employment opportunities. The reform and opening up is a top-to-down comprehensive reform policy in China. And there are many other measures at that time, such as medical treatment, foreign exchange, and buildings and houses, and so on. Many measures in this time, which we will not be explained one by one here. And if you think deeply enough, you will find that China's reform and opening up is government-led, and the degree of reform and opening up in regions and industries is very different, which might cause some economic and social development problems. Yes, reform and opening up have indeed brought about some problems, and the most important of which is the polarization between the rich and the poor, and between the rich city and the poor city. The Chinese government has also seen this problem very early and put forward a series of policies to alleviate the polarization between the rich and the poor after that. And what policies will China adopt to deal with the polarization problems? We will talk about in the next time. That's all for this video. Is about 10 minutes. If you are interested in poverty governments or poverty alleviation in China, please send me a message or comment after the video. Bye bye.